is adding the text box to your project. So I've left this space down here. I'm going to use my horizontal type tool. I'm going to go in here and I just want to, right where the edge of this starts, I'm going to drag a box, and that's for my font. You make sure that you are setting it, I want it to be right justified. And if you can see my cursor right now, so if I put a letter in there, it's huge, way too big for what I want. So I want my font to be a normal size. I'm going to see what 12 looks like. I can always make it bigger than this. And value is what I'm doing. Well, that's real too tiny for this. So maybe I make value a little bit larger. And then I'm going to hit return. And then I'm going to choose a much smaller font for that, maybe 14 for this. Value is the way light and dark work to the photograph. I'm just going to type some things in here just to pretend, because I wanted you to get the idea of words and things in here and what they look like. Click. Okay. Good. All right. So here's my paragraph. I'm going to actually all right. So what are some different things I can do with this? Well, if I want to go back here and edit that, number 1, this is too small. I have plenty of room to work with, so I'm going to see what it looks like in different sizes. You know, I'm going to actually leave it as an 18 for right now, and I'm going to go in here and check out some different fonts. Do choose something that looks professional and that's easy to read. What I don't want to see is, number 1, I don't want to have any misspelled words. Number 2, I don't want to see these hyphenations in here. So I can compress this so I don't get some of those in there. I can change the size of fonts. I could even go in and hit return in different ways so it throws words down onto the next line so I don't see a bunch of hyphenations. I shouldn't see that. Okay, so I don't want to see any dashes there. And like I said, you can highlight all of this and go in and see what it looks like in a couple different fonts. Decide on your font before you go and make all those return carriage things in there. Don't choose things like goofy writing like this. I don't care what your element is. This cartoony looking things are just never a good idea. So try to choose something that looks professional and is easy to read. Stay away from overly scriptive looking things like script like this, very difficult to read. No one's going to want to, try to decipher that. Maybe for just the title, you can have a different font for the title of it than you can for the writing. But remember, it's a poster. It's supposed to be easy to read. So things I don't want to see are, nobody uses Ravi or whatever it is, Ravi, Rosewood. Don't use things that are like I said, overly cartoony looking. Stencil. Very rarely would you ever use certain fonts in here, and I am prejudiced against them, so don't use them. And I also don't want to have to read Hebrew or Chinese or something like that. Or I don't know what all of these languages are. Maybe one of you can read them, but I cannot, and the average person can't. So choose things that are simple to read and look attractive with the rest of it. Now, what happens if I want to change the color of this? I can go in here and I can choose any color I want to for my font. I don't know whether that actually did that or not. Oh, it did. Okay. But there again, choose something that's easy to read. So that's your font. This is not easy to read. Let me go back and change that. Or I could, I suppose. You might might, if you have something that's colored, you might choose a color that is in your poster itself. Let's just stay dark. Okay. Yeah, and you can also see what it looks like if it was centered. Now, suppose I want to, here's our finishing touches. Oops, I want to, my direct select tool. Say if I want all of these to stand out. So they're all, with the exception of my value here. I want to have some type of a black line around these. Say some of the edges of your photos are a little bit light. I can go down to this FX menu. All right, here, poster, let's cooperate. Okay. I should be able to select all of these. Ugh, doggone, it's not going to let me do it all at once. All right, so let's start in layer number 6. I'm going to click on the FX menu. I'm going to go to stroke. And which one is this one? I guess we'll figure it out. Oh, I don't want that. I'm not sure why my stroke is not showing up. Okay, so there it is. You can see that black line around there, and you can see what it would look like if it was really large. Stick with something small, no more than about 4 or 5 pixels wide would be good. And I can go through there to the rest of them and do the same thing. Stroke. Remember I set it to 4 before. Actually, you can make it a default. And if you do that, it will, when I click stroke, it will automatically default to whatever it was that you did the last time. So I'm going to do it to each and every one. Like I said, there is a way to do it to all of them. This is the only one that needs. I don't know why this one didn't work the last time. Let me throw that into the trash. Okay, now it worked. All right. And so if I got rid of these, you'd be able to see those lines a little bit better. I don't really need these blue lines in here anymore if I want to see what the poster. Oh, by the way, these will not stay on your feet when you turn it in. Or if you were to print it off, I wouldn't see those blue lines at all. But there it is. That makes it look, I mean, that's really nice and sharp here. A couple other things that I can do. Say if I wanted to do layer new, I want to do a new fill layer, a solid color. Now it does throw it in over top, but I'm just showing you this for an example. You can also move these layers around. These are just all your finishing touches. I put it above my background, like if I wanted it behind my piece. And then you can just double click on it and go in here and just sort of make it any color you would want. Maybe something really, really subtle, or maybe in the blues, like a bluish gray might look nice with that. And you can sort of move this to the side. So you can see what that would look like. It does look very nice. It's sort of, like I said, is that finishing touch on there that really brings the whole thing together. There's some other things you can do. If I didn't want a solid color, I could do layer, new fill layer. I could do a gradient, and it would do the same thing. Only it would, I can click in here, and you could choose any one of these. Some of them are really ugly, but say I chose this one, okay, and I can click in here and change those colors. So I could, sort of stick with those blues. And it's going to fade to pink. I don't want it to fade to pink. So, maybe I'd have it fade to a really dark blue or something. So there it is. These can sort of slide around, and you can see what that looks like. Then it also gives you this option. You can change the way the gradient looks. It's just different, things you can do for your poster. begin with. Okay, so those are just your finishing touches on there. And then last but not least, you would need to file, save. So it's already named value poster. That's what you named it in the very beginning. You don't want to save as, because it's going to rename it then, and it's already there. So it's value poster, save, so it'll save the changes on there. If you are not finished with these, save them. File, save as, value 23. It already has a name, and now it's going to save as a Photoshop document. And just click OK, and go through the whole thing, every single one of those. Now, if you're finished with them, you don't need to save them. But if you have resized them and you've not used them in your poster yet, please, please, please save them. Otherwise, you have to go back and make all